everybody, it's Angie and welcome to Hot and Flashy. Today's video is a full face makeup tutorial on how to look younger. So I am going to start the tutorial with, as usual, my face with no makeup, and then at the end we're going to do a side-by-side comparison and see if this makeup can help to make me look a little bit more youthful. Alright, this is a makeup that I've been wearing in a lot of my videos lately. I really like it. I find it very youthful looking. It makes my skin look much smoother, and you guys have been asking me how I apply it to get that nice, smooth, youthful look. So in this video, I'm going to show you all the tips and tricks to look younger with makeup. Alright, so let's get started on looking younger. So when I look at my face, the things that I see that I feel like I could improve on to make me look a little bit younger are that I have enlarged pores here on my cheeks and what I call my orange peel skin up here on my forehead. And I feel like when I put on makeup, it can sometimes accentuate the large pores. So the first thing I'll do is put on a primer to help fill in those pores. And some work better than others, but the one that I've been loving lately is the Tarte Clean Slate Smoothing Primer. It's a very thick pink cream, and it's not really full of silicones and dimethicones, which I like about it. So I just take a little bit of that and I put it just where I need it. So here where my pores are enlarged, I just put some on there and I rub it in circles in both directions. I find that putting it in both directions really helps to fill up the pores better, and that way, you know, if you just smear it on in one direction like this or down, it doesn't really fill them up because they're, you know, they're like a little cup, so you have to fill them from all directions. So I just do that on both my cheeks and a little bit up here on my forehead. And then I also find that like the skin on my chin over here is a little wrinkly because when I speak, my chin gets very involved in my talking, and so it's developed a whole mess of surface wrinkling, and so I like to smooth that over a little bit too. So smoothness is the first thing that I think helps the skin to look a little bit younger. Alright, so the second thing for me that I think makes my skin look a little bit older is that it's very splotchy and it's not very even as far as the color goes. I'm going to try to get away without using concealer today. What I'm going to use is a very lightweight foundation and then a powder foundation to smooth everything over. And I think the two of those that I'm going to use today are very pigmented, and so they should cover up everything that I want to cover, even out my skin tone, and make me look nice and smooth on their own without using any concealer. I haven't found one for the under eyes yet that doesn't settle in fine lines and wrinkles. They dry out, and they dry out the skin a little bit, and they make it act less supple. So today I'm going to be using Urban Decay Naked Skin Ultra Definition Liquid Foundation in the shade 4.0. So just like a half a squirt of that. Okay, this is like a runny liquid, and a little goes a long way, and it's very sheer but very pigmented. So I just dot it around, kind of starting in the center of my face where I need more coverage, and then just rubbing it and spreading it out. And I'm just going to do this with my fingers. If you prefer a blending sponge, you can do that. And I'm just going to put it underneath my eyes in a very sheer little coating. Fortunately, I don't have that much eye darkness or things that I need to hide there, so I can get away with that. If you have darkness there, obviously you need a corrector, but a lightweight one, and the one I usually recommend is Armani Maestro Corrector. That stuff is great. So as you can see, that kind of evened out my skin tone. The color on my lips right at the corners is starting to spread a little bit, which is weird for me. So it almost like gives me the Joker lips, which I don't like. So where the corners of my mouth used to come down to a nice sharp point, here it's like kind of bleeding out in a weird circle, and I don't really love it. And I gotta say, some people have actually written in and pointed it out to me and been like, you know, why don't you cover that up? So if you're looking for a solution for that, you know, just a little bit of this. So I take like the tiniest bit of a squirt, barely any, and just gently dip it on the corners of my mouth. And you know, I've seen a lot of people YouTube who actually put foundation over their whole lips. So now my lips are gone. That will just enable me to draw the line that I want to draw. I like to put on my eyelid primer in the meantime and let it set up while I do the powder. So I'm going to be using the Tarte Clean Slate 360 degree creaseless 12-hour smoothing eye primer. And I really like this one. I just put a little squirt out on the back of my hand using my fingers. Prime my eyelids. And this primer was the winner in my recent eyelid primer testing. It really smooths the crepiness of my eyelids, and that's one of the things that does, I feel, make me look a bit older, is that my eyelids are crepey and my hoods, which were always lovely and full and puffy when I was younger, are now sagging. So one of the things we'll tackle is the sagging, crepey, hooding eyelids, and one of the ways to tackle it is to use a smoothing eye primer like this one. Alright, so that's on there, and I'm just going to let that set up while I go ahead with my face powder. Alright, so this is a very monochromatic look, which I don't really love, and you can still see a lot of things through it. So you can still see, you know, my pink spots and my melasma and all my freckles. So we need another layer. But I don't like any one layer to be too heavy. I like them all to be sort of light. So the powder I'm going to use is the Becca Perfect Skin powder in a compact. And this is a foundation, and it is very pigmented, but I find that it goes very nicely over a lightweight foundation and just gives me like a perfect lit from within glow. There's two different brushes that I'll use depending on what kind of coverage I want. You can see the size difference between these two. So this is for a lighter coverage day, and this is for you know, heavier coverage day. And I think I'll use this brush for the heavier coverage parts of my face and the other brush where I want it to go on lighter. So I just give it a little swirl in there, and it picks up plenty. A lot of it comes off on the brush, so I just like to tap it back in there so that everything falls back in and I get to use it again. Okay, so then I just take that, and again with these circular motions in opposite directions, I start right here where I need it the most and start swirling that on. And I don't like to put too much powder right up here under my eyes as well, because the powder, I find, tends to make that skin less supple as well. So do the other side, and you can see how kind of pigmented and much more yellowy this is. You see it already? I'm looking like tan and glowy. And then I'm just going to use the bigger brush to kind of fluff it all a little bit more on around the edges. Of course, I always like to continue a little bit down my neck, and I even do my ears. Alright, so now that powder is done. So to fix up the monochromaticness, let's use some bronzer and blush. I'm going to be putting on the It Cosmetics CC Plus Ombre Bronzer. I usually just use a little bit from down here, and I have the It Cosmetics Puffy Domed brush to put it on with. So I just take a little bit from the bottom. Hey, look at that. Wow, why does that look so dark? It doesn't look that dark in real life. Better do something about that. Alright, so I'm going to take some from the middle and do a little bit up here at my hairline, just to kind of make everything have a little more subtle shading. So I always do a little bit under my chin here. But I think those are still, wow, way too much, so I'm just going to rub those out a little bit. Is that better? Yeah, okay. Woo. I don't like those hard lines when it's like that. Okay, so then I'm going to use the It Cosmetics CC Plus Radiance Ombre Blush, and the brush that I love to put this on with is my Crown Kabuki Fan Brush. It's number JB120. And this is awesome, so I use the more opaque and less sparkly part to start. And I start back here and just bring that forward. Then I turn the brush and get the apple of my cheek. I like it because this enables it to blend down into the bronzer. So this has a nice little highlighter up here, so I just take a little bit of that and run it on the tops of my cheeks and kind of down the middle of my nose. Put just a little line down the center of my face. Alright, so the next thing that I think makes me look a little bit older is when I don't have any eye makeup on. It is the eyes. They just don't have that oomph, that sparkle. I'm going to use one of the colors from this Sonia Kashuk palette. This is called Sweet Nothings, and it's a little, number 16, it's a little palette of 6 very pale shades. And so I'm going to use this one in the lower left, which is kind of a golden tan color with a little bit of shimmer. With that, I'm going to be using the Heavenly Luxe It Cosmetics No Tug eyeshadow brush, number 5, and the bigger end. So I'm just going to pop that right onto the movable part of my eyelid. And into the corner to brighten that up a little bit. Next, Bobbi Brown Gray 6 Beauty Junkees crease brush, and applying this into the crease. And you know, I always have to reach over and lift up my eyelid, so that is going to go from the natural crease and above. This is a nice soft gray color. And in order to cover up or disguise the sagging of the hood, you have to bring that up quite high towards the eyebrow. Sephora blending eyeshadow brush number 71. I'm just going to take a little bit more of that same color. I'm just going to pack it on the outer third of the eyelid. Alright, next I'm going to use MAC Blanc Type, which is a matte shadow, and the IT Cosmetics No Tug eyeshadow brush. And I'm just going to do a matte highlight underneath the brow bone, so I'm just going to put that right up there and blend it down into that gray color. Sephora brush again with Laura Mercier in Sable. Just going to take a little bit of that on the top edge of the brush, like so. And I'm just going to deepen up that outer corner. So a little bit down, a little bit over, but not dragging it too far. Kind of angled towards the edge of the eyebrow, but not going up that far. Down and over. Using the Beauty Junkees tapered blending brush, I'm just going to blend that all out. So again, holding up my eyebrow. I'm going to go back in with the Bobbi Brown Gray and this Beauty Junkees flat definer brush. Just going to rub in the top tip of that, and I'm just going to apply the eyeshadow underneath the eye and out to meet that shadow and define the outer edge. This is the Wet n Wild Color Icon pencil in silver. And make sure all your pencils are nice and sharpened before you start, and I'm just going to tight line the inner rim. And this is a great pencil. It doesn't bother my eyes. I'm a contact lens wearer, so anything that stings my eyes or makes them water is no-go for me now, but this I've been using for years. It never gives me a problem. And then for the top lid, I'm going to do the tight lining there, so I'm going to use the Sephora Contour 12-Hour Waterproof Eyeliner. This one is in Fifth Avenue, which is a nice matte gray. I make like I'm going to poke myself in the eye without actually poking myself in the eye. Close my upper lid down on the pencil and just rub it back and forth right at the lash line. So let's try to just go ahead and do a regular, yikes, eyelinering, which is difficult for me to do on camera, but I will give it a go. And basically the way I do it is I'm just going to take the pencil, and as usual I have to hold my eyebrow up, close my lid down, and then I'm just going to draw like a little bit of a dotted line, because it's very hard when you're older. It's hard to see, it's hard to get close enough to your mirror, it's hard to get close enough to the lash line. And at the corner, right at the end of the lashes, just give it a little flick up. And then I'm going to use that same, where is that brush? Here it is, the Beauty Junkees flat definer, and I like to take that one and smudge out the line. Makes it a little smudgy, so if you didn't draw it on perfectly, it's okay. And then just flick that out and smudge your flick out at the corner. Of course, the last step with the eyes is the mascara. I'm going to use the Benefit Roller Lash. I reviewed this just the other day, and it's pretty good. I like it, but it definitely gives a dramatic look. So if you don't like that big, dramatic, long, spidery lash look, then this will not be for you. But for this kind of look, I think it's good, because it only takes one coat. So it's quick and easy to apply. And it definitely gives a lifted effect, which is one thing that helps make the eyes look a little bit younger. This definitely makes them lift away from the eye, and it's a really quite an eye-opening, more youthful look. It is slightly harder to remove than most mascaras though, so if you're not into a 3-step removal process, it might not be for you. I'm going to line my lips. I bought this product and I've been using it constantly and loving it. It is the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Lip Pencil in Naked. Nice and sharp point. So, you know, you're just going to follow the natural line of your lips. And then at the corner where you have the foundation covering up any spreading, you just bring it right down and in. And if there's your natural colors out there, don't go there. Just put this on where you want your unnatural new lip line to be. Right in. Alright, and then just fill in the whole thing. Same on the bottom. I find this to be very long lasting, so if I line my lips with it and then put on a gloss or another lipstick, it will last a long, long time. So the one I used the other day was the Bare Minerals Marvelous Moxie Buttercream, and this is in the color Must Have Pink. I usually don't wear a gloss because I don't like the sparkle off my lip wrinkles. Just a tiny bit of this applied with my finger I've been loving. And starting in the middle of the lower lip, I'm just going to dot it on there. I'm trying to keep the gloss away from the top edge of my lip, because I find that is where if I put anything shiny there, it shines off my, my wrinkles, and then it accentuates them. And there you have it. All right, but if you make a mistake and apply it the other way, it's an easy way to get it off there is just to take a Q-tip and just rub the upper edge of the lip to remove the gloss. All right, 2 more steps and then we're done. Nobody said it was easy to look more youthful. So I just like to have a mattifying powder underneath my eyes. So I'm going to use the It Cosmetics Bye Bye Pores HD powder and my e.l.f. blush brush. And I just press a little bit of that right underneath my eyes to kind of set any makeup that's there and help that to stay matte all day. And I think that mattifying that helps a lot. And then the last step is to do my eyebrows. I actually think that they look fine most of the time, but I think that as far as looking a little bit younger, as our eyebrows get a little bit sparser, it can help to frame the face to do the eyebrows. So I'm going to use this Milani Brow Fix Brow Kit. I've really been liking this because it comes in different shades. This one is shade 01 Light. I use the middle one on this because that works best with my brows. This is too dark for me. So this is an ancient spoolie that came with the Costco kit. So I'm just going to dip in there and take some brow powder on my brush. And I tend to not start at the beginning because I think it goes on too heavy when you first put it on. So I start kind of up in the middle. See that I have that little sparse spot there? I'm just going to fill that in. And then I get, you know, most of the powder off my brush up here, and then I go back over here because my brows right here are very sparse. So I don't like it to be too heavy of a powdery filled look. And I find that if I just go right for that spot from the get-go, I end up with too much powder there. Just following kind of the natural shape of my eyebrow. And then I just brush it all in with the spoolie. I usually don't even try to, you know, touch the skin. I'm just giving it the featheriest, lightest touch actually on the hairs. And I found that my brows have been very unruly lately. So I thought I would try a brow wax. So this is NYX Eyebrow Shaper, and it's basically just a waxy pencil, and you just take it and run it, draw it over your eyebrows. You know, I've been doing a lot of videos lately with close-ups of my eyes, and I notice my eyebrow hairs are always like going in the wrong direction. So I thought, oh, I need something to make them stay, and I have like a brow mascara, but it tends to flake and chip during the day, so I didn't love that, so I thought maybe this wax would work for me. And then I'm just gonna brush it through. Ooh, very nice. It feels cool and waxy. There, all right, so now my brows are looking good. The whole face is done. Let's see, is that everything? What is up with my nose? I think my nose is really red. I think I need a little more powder on the tip of my nose. What happened? Oh my goodness. Is that better? That is better. Okay, so now do I look younger? Well, let me scooch over here and bring in the me from about 20 minutes ago before we did all this. I'm telling you, it's not easy to look younger. It takes a lot of work. Alright, so that concludes the tutorial for today. I hope you liked it, everybody, and I hope that you can use some of these tips and tricks and makeup techniques and products to help you look more youthful too. So have a great day, everybody, and I will see you next time. As always, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.